I think this is it. Oh,
Woo! Yes, that connects perfectly.
oh. You two are doing incredible work.
I'm telling you, Dan, this idea is big, Ethan said, leaning back in the chair like he already owned a company. Not small big. Life-changing big. I laughed and pushed a cup of cheap coffee toward him. Everything is life-changing big to you. No, I'm serious, he said. This one is different. I looked around my tiny apartment, at the peeling paint and the old table we found on the street. Different how? He leaned forward. Because this one is yours. And you actually know how it works. I stayed quiet for a moment, then said, it's not just an idea. It's a solution. People like me needed this growing up. People who don't have money, connections, or luck. Ethan nodded slowly. That's why it's going to work. You're not building it for investors. You're building it for real people. I smiled. We are building it. He pointed at me. No. You created it. I'm just the guy who's going to help you turn it into a business. You're my partner, I said. Don't forget that. He grinned. Partner. I like the sound of that. We sat there for hours, talking about features, users, and how we would pitch it one day. Every time I doubted something, Ethan would shut it down. Stop overthinking, he said. You always do this. You build something amazing, then you start thinking it's not good enough. That's because I know how hard life is, I said quietly. When you grow up counting coins just to buy bread, you don't believe big things happen to you. Ethan looked at me differently then. That's why I believe in you, he said. You're not doing this for fame. You're doing this because you know what it feels like to have nothing. I looked down at my coffee. I just don't want to fail again. You won't, he said. Not this time. Because this time, you're not alone. I nodded slowly. Yeah. This time, I'm not alone. A few minutes later, my phone buzzed. It was Lily. I answered. Hey, Lil. Did you eat? She asked immediately. I rolled my eyes. Yes, Mom. I'm serious, she said. You forget to eat when you work. I had noodles, I said. When? I looked at Ethan and mouthed, help me. He leaned toward the phone and said loudly, he ate 2 hours ago. I saw it with my own eyes. That's a lie, Lily said. Ethan, don't help him lie. I laughed. Why do you always take his side? Because he tells me the truth, she said. Unlike you. I'm fine, I said softly. I promise. There was a pause, then she said, you're working on that idea again, aren't you? Yeah, I said. I think this one might actually work. You always say that, she said gently. I know, I replied. But this time feels different. Ethan spoke again. Lily, I'm telling you, when we become rich, I'm buying you a big house. She laughed. I don't want a big house. I just want my brother to stop stressing all the time. I didn't say anything for a moment. Then I said, I'm doing this so we never have to worry about money again. Her voice softened. I know. Just don't lose yourself while trying to win. I won't, I said. After I hung up, Ethan looked at me. She really believes in you. She's the reason I can't give up, I said. When our parents died, I promised I'd take care of her. Everything I do is for her. Ethan nodded. Then we really can't fail. We won't, I said. We just need time. He raised his coffee cup. To time, hard work, and future millionaires. I raised mine too. To the dream. He smiled at me like a brother. One day, we are going to look back at this apartment and laugh. Yeah, I said. One day. I believed him. I believed every word he said that night. I believed in the dream, in the future, and most of all, I believed in my best friend. I had no idea that the person sitting across from me, drinking cheap coffee and talking about loyalty, would one day be the same person who would break me in a way no enemy ever could. I walked into the tech event expecting nothing but free food and awkward networking. I even texted Ethan when I arrived. Where are you? I typed. Busy today. Big meeting. I'll call you later, he replied. I didn't think much of it. He had been busy a lot lately. I grabbed a drink and looked around at the booths and banners. People in suits were talking about funding, growth, and innovation. I felt out of place in my cheap shirt, but I told myself, one day, I'll belong here. Then I saw a large screen on the main stage. A logo appeared on the screen. My logo. I frowned and stepped closer. That looks familiar, I whispered to myself. Then the presenter walked onto the stage. My heart stopped. It was Ethan. I felt like the floor disappeared under my feet. I couldn't move. I couldn't think. I just stood there as he smiled and started speaking. 2 years ago, I had an idea, he said confidently. An idea to help people who struggle to access opportunities because of money, connections, or background. My hands started shaking. That was my story. My words. He clicked to the next slide. It showed the system design I had drawn in my notebook. Word for word. Slide for slide. Idea for idea. The crowd listened carefully. Some people nodded. Some took notes. Ethan kept talking. This platform isn't just a business. It's a solution. It's for the underdogs. The people nobody believes in. I couldn't breathe. I pushed through the crowd, trying to get closer to the stage. Every word he said felt like a knife. When he finished, the room exploded with applause. Someone near me said, "This guy is a genius." Another person said, "Investors are going to fight over this." I felt sick. After the presentation, people gathered around Ethan, shaking his hand and congratulating him. I stood far away, watching, feeling like I was looking at a stranger wearing my best friend's face. A woman with a camera walked up near me. "You look like you just saw a ghost," she said. I forced a small smile. Something like that. "I'm Chloe," she said. "Chloe Reed. I'm a journalist. That presentation was impressive, right?" I looked at the stage. "Yeah, impressive." "You don't sound impressed," she said. I hesitated, then said quietly, "What did you think of the idea?" "I think it's going to make a lot of money," she said, "and probably change a lot of lives." I swallowed. "Yeah, it probably will." Before she could say anything else, I saw Ethan walking toward a tall older man in a suit. The man shook his hand firmly. "Outstanding presentation," the man said. "I'm Victor Hayes. I invest in companies like yours." Ethan smiled. "It's an honor to meet you, sir." "I'd like to discuss funding," Victor said. "Your idea has serious potential." My chest tightened. That should have been me standing there. That should have been my handshake. My moment. Instead, I was standing in the corner like nobody. I walked toward them before I could stop myself. "Ethan," I said. He turned around. For a moment, he looked shocked. "Dan, what are you doing here?" I stared at him. "I think I should be asking you that." Victor looked between us. "You two know each other." Ethan answered quickly. "Yeah. Old friends." Old friends. I felt something crack inside me. Victor nodded. "Good. I like founders who have loyal people around them. It means they're trustworthy." I almost laughed when I heard that word. Trustworthy. Victor handed Ethan a card. "Call me tomorrow. We'll talk numbers." "Thank you," Ethan said. Victor walked away, and Chloe was watching from a distance, like she could feel the tension. I looked at Ethan. "We need to talk. Now." He rubbed the back of his neck. "Dan, not here." "Now," I repeated. We walked outside the building in silence. The night air felt cold, but my body felt hot with anger. I looked at him and said, "Tell me I'm wrong." He didn't say anything. "Tell me that wasn't my idea," I said. "Tell me I'm crazy." He finally spoke, very quietly. "Dan." "No," I said. "Look me in the eyes and tell me." He looked at me, and he didn't deny it. Instead, he said, "It was just business." I felt like someone punched me in the chest. "Business." I repeated. "I knew you wouldn't do anything with it," he said. "You were moving too slow. You were going to miss the opportunity. So you stole it." I asked. "I didn't steal it," he said. "I built it." "You built it from my idea," I said. From my story. From my work. He sighed. Ideas don't matter, Dan. Execution matters. I stared at him, not recognizing the person in front of me. We were partners, I said. He shook his head slightly. We were dreamers. I decided to be realistic. I felt my eyes burn, but I refused to cry. You could have told me. We could have done this together. He didn't respond. That's all I needed, I said. The truth. Dan, he started. I raised my hand. No, don't say anything else. I stepped back and looked at him one last time. I would have never done this to you. He looked away, and in that moment, I realized something painful. I had lost my best friend long before I walked into that event. I just didn't know it until now. I didn't answer Ethan's calls. I didn't answer unknown numbers either. I turned off my phone for 2 days, then turned it on just to see if I still existed to the world. Messages flooded in, but I didn't open any of them. Lily came over on the 3rd day and knocked on my door. I know you're inside, she said. Open the door, Dan. I stayed quiet. She knocked again. If you don't open this door, I swear I'll keep knocking all night. I opened the door slowly and walked back inside without saying anything. She stepped in, looked around at the messy room, and then looked at me. You look terrible, she said. Thanks, I replied quietly. When was the last time you slept? She asked. I don't remember. She crossed her arms. When was the last time you ate? I'm not hungry. That's not what I asked. I sat down and rubbed my face. Why are you here, Lily? Because you disappeared, she said. And because Ethan called me. I looked up immediately. What did he say? He said you're not answering him, she replied. He sounded worried. I laughed, but it didn't sound like a laugh. Worried. Dan, what happened? She asked softly. I stayed quiet for a long time. Then I said, do you remember the idea I told you about? The one I said would change everything. Yes, she said. He launched it, I said. At a big event. Investors, media, everything. She frowned. Wait, what do you mean he launched it? I looked at her. I mean he presented it like it was his. My idea. My work. My story. Everything. She stared at me like she didn't understand. No, Ethan wouldn't do that. He did, I said. I saw him on stage, Lily. I heard him tell my story like it was his own life. She sat down slowly. Did you talk to him? Yeah, I said. He said, it was just business. She looked angry now. He said that to you? Yeah. That's not business, she said. That's betrayal. I leaned back and stared at the ceiling. I keep thinking maybe it's my fault. Your fault, she said. How is this your fault? Maybe I was too slow, I said. Maybe I trusted too much. Maybe I talked too much. Maybe I was stupid. She shook her head. Stop it. I'm serious, I said. Smart people don't get betrayed like this. Smart people trust people they love, she said. That's not stupidity. That's being human. I didn't respond. She spoke again, more gently. What are you going to do now? I don't know, I said. I feel like something inside me is gone. You're not gone, she said. You're hurt. It's more than hurt, I said quietly. It's like I lost something I can't replace. You didn't lose your mind, she said. You didn't lose your talent. You didn't lose your ability to build something. I lost my best friend, I said. She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, maybe you never really had him. That sentence hurt, but it also felt true. I looked at her and asked, if someone you trusted like family betrayed you, what would you do? She thought for a moment. I'd cry first, she said. Then I'd get angry. Then I'd move on and become so successful that they would regret ever hurting me. I almost smiled. You make it sound easy. It's not easy, she said. But staying like this is harder. I looked around my apartment. I don't even know where to start. Start by standing up, she said. I am standing. No, she said. You're hiding. Her words hit me hard. She continued, you always told me that life is unfair, and the only thing we can control is what we do next. So what are you going to do next? I didn't answer right away. Instead, I asked her, do you still believe in me? She looked offended. I never stopped. Even if I failed? I asked. You didn't fail, she said. You got betrayed. That's different. I nodded slowly. She stood up and walked toward the door, then turned back to me. You have two choices, Dan. You can sit here and let this destroy you, or you can become someone who can't be destroyed. After she left, I sat in silence for a long time. Then I said out loud to the empty room, I'm not done yet. And for the first time since that night, I believed it. I kept hearing Ethan's voice in my head. It was just business. The words followed me everywhere, like a shadow I couldn't escape. One night, I was sitting in a small cafe, staring at my laptop but not really working. A man sitting at the next table looked at my screen for a moment and then said, You're not really working, are you? I looked up. Excuse me. You've been staring at the same page for 20 minutes, he said calmly. That's not work. That's war inside your head. I didn't know why, but I said, Someone stole my idea. He nodded like he already understood. And now you want revenge. I want justice, I said. He smiled slightly. That's what everyone says when they want revenge. I closed my laptop. Do I know you? No, he said. But I know that look on your face. I had it once too. What happened to you? I asked. My business partner pushed me out of my own company, he said. I spent a year planning how to destroy him. What stopped you? I asked. He looked straight at me. I realized something important. Revenge doesn't make you powerful. Success does. I stayed quiet. He continued, What's your name? Daniel, I said. Daniel Carter. I'm Marcus Kane, he said, shaking my hand. Former entrepreneur. Former angry man. I almost smiled. So what are you now? Now I help people who are about to make the same mistakes I almost made, he said. And what mistake am I about to make? I asked. You're about to spend your time hating someone instead of building something, he said. Hate is expensive. It costs time, energy, and focus. He stole my future, I said quietly. Marcus shook his head. No. He stole your idea. Your future is still yours. You make it sound simple, I said. It's not simple, he said. It's just clear. I leaned back in my chair. So what do I do? You build again, he said. But this time, you build smarter, faster, and stronger. I don't have money, I said. Money comes later, he replied. Right now, you need a plan and the right people. The right people, I repeated. I thought I had that already. You had the wrong person, Marcus said. That happens. Don't let one betrayal make you afraid of everyone. I looked at my laptop again. What if I fail again? Then you fail, he said. And then you try again. That's how this works. I was quiet for a long time, then I said, I don't want revenge. Good, Marcus said. Because revenge is a distraction. I want to become successful enough that what he did doesn't define me, I said. Marcus smiled. Now that is a goal worth chasing. A week later, Marcus introduced me to a developer named Ava Collins. We met in a small office that Marcus rented. Ava looked at me and said, Marcus told me what happened to you. That he stole my idea. I asked. She shook her head. No. He told me someone stole your first version. That means you have a chance to build a better version. I looked at her, surprised. You don't think I'm too late? She laughed. In tech, nobody is too late. The best product wins, not the first one. Marcus crossed his arms. Tell her your idea, Daniel. I hesitated. Ava noticed and said, You don't trust me yet. That's smart. Trust should be earned, not given. I nodded slowly. Fair enough. She opened her laptop. Then don't tell me everything. Just tell me this. Do you still believe in your idea? I didn't even need to think. Yes. She smiled. Good. Because I don't work on ideas people don't believe in. Marcus looked at me. You have a choice now, Daniel. You can spend the next few years watching Ethan succeed, or you can build something better and compete. I took a deep breath. I'm not doing this to destroy him. Ava nodded. Good. Build for users, not for revenge. I'm doing this to prove to myself that he didn't steal my future, I said. Marcus smiled. That's the right reason. I looked at both of them and said, okay, let's build something better. Ava grinned. Now you sound like a founder. Marcus added, no. Now he sounds like a man who stopped being a victim. For the first time since the betrayal, I felt something different. Not anger. Not pain. Power. Okay, Ava said, looking at the screen. Your original model was good, but it was too slow. If we rebuild it, we rebuild it right. I nodded. I don't want a copy of the old version. I want something better. Good, she said. Because if we are going to compete, we can't be equal. We have to be better. Marcus leaned against the wall. That's the first smart thing you both said today. I looked at him. Only the first. He smiled. Success comes from 1,000 smart decisions, not one. Ava pointed at me. Then decision number 2, we stopped talking about Ethan. I hesitated. I'm not talking about him. You're thinking about him, she said. I can tell. Marcus nodded. She's right. You can't build the future if your mind is stuck in the past. I took a deep breath. Fine. From now on, we focus only on our product. Ava smiled. Good. Now tell me again why users need this. Because people with no connections don't get opportunities, I said. This platform gives them access based on skill, not background. She nodded. Good mission. Investors like missions. Users need solutions. So we build a solution first. Marcus added, and we build a business model with it this time. I looked at him. I had a business model. He raised an eyebrow. You had a dream. Now you need a strategy. Ava turned her laptop toward me. Look at this. If we change the matching system and make it faster, users will get results in days instead of weeks. I leaned closer. Can we actually do that? She smiled. Yes, but it means we rebuild everything. I didn't even hesitate. Then we rebuild everything. The next few weeks were the hardest I had worked in my life. One night, Ava looked at me and said, You need sleep. I need progress, I replied. You need sleep or you'll start making stupid decisions, she said. Marcus laughed from the other side of the room. Listen to her. Tired founders make bad CEOs. I leaned back in my chair. I just feel like I'm running out of time. Ava looked at me seriously. You're not running out of time. You're running out of patience. That's because someone else is already out there with my idea, I said. With your old idea, she corrected. This new version? This is ours. Marcus nodded. And this version is smarter. I stayed quiet for a moment, then said, Why are you helping me? Ava looked surprised. You really want to ask that now? Yes, I said. You could work for a big company and make more money. Why this? She closed her laptop slowly. Because I like building things that matter. And because I know what it feels like to be ignored. I looked at her. Ignored? She nodded. My last company, I built half the product. My boss took all the credit. So yeah, I understand your story more than you think. I didn't know what to say for a moment. Then I said, Then I promise you something. What? She asked. If this company succeeds, everyone will know what you built, I said. No one will erase your work. She looked at me for a few seconds, then smiled. Good. Because I don't work with people who forget who helped them. Marcus clapped his hands once. Good. Now that we trust each other, let's talk about money. I sighed. The problem we can't avoid. How much do you have? He asked. I told him the number. He didn't laugh, but he looked concerned. That's not a lot, he said. I know, I replied. Ava said, then we don't waste it. No fancy office. No big team. Just us. Marcus nodded. Lean and dangerous. I like it. I looked at both of them. Do you really think we can win? Marcus answered first. Winning is not one moment. Winning is a series of small victories. Right now, your first victory is that you didn't quit. Ava added, your second victory will be building a product that uses love. And the third? I asked. Marcus smiled. The third is when the market realizes who the real founder is. I looked at the screen again, at the new design, the new system, the new future we were building. I'm not doing this for revenge anymore, I said. Ava nodded. Good. Revenge is short-term motivation. Purpose is long-term motivation. I'm doing this because I want to build something real, I said. Something no one can take from me again. Marcus smiled. Now you're thinking like a founder. I looked at both of them and said, we started with nothing. Ava smiled. That just means we have nothing to lose. I nodded slowly. No money. No reputation. No investors. Marcus added, but you have something more important. What? I asked. He looked at me and said, you have the truth. And eventually, the truth becomes power. I didn't fully understand his words at the time, but I would. Ava looked at the latest test results and smiled. This is faster. Much faster. I leaned over her shoulder. How much faster? About 3 times faster than your original version, she said. And probably 5 times better than Ethan's version. I crossed my arms. You sound very confident. She looked at me. I'm a developer. Confidence comes from data, not feelings. Marcus, sitting behind us, said, that's why I like her. I sat down and stared at the screen. So technically, we are ahead. Ava nodded. Technically, yes. But the market doesn't care who is better. The market cares who is first, who is loud, and who is trusted. I sighed. He has all 3. Not forever, Marcus said. A few days later, my phone rang. The caller ID showed Chloe Reed. I looked at the phone for a few seconds before answering. Hello. Hi, Daniel, she said. I wasn't sure if you'd remember me. The journalist from the event, I said. I remember. I've been covering Ethan's company, she said. And I wanted to ask you a few questions. Why me? I asked. Because when I met you, you looked like a man who had a story but wasn't telling it, she said. I stayed quiet. She continued, I'm not calling to write a story about you. I'm calling because I think something is wrong. What do you mean? I asked. I've interviewed some users of Ethan's platform, she said. Some love it. But some are complaining. Complaining about what? I asked. Results, she said. They say the system doesn't work the way he promised. Some investors are also asking questions. I felt my chest tighten slightly. And why are you telling me this? Because when he was on that stage, and I looked at you, I felt like I wasn't looking at a random guy in the crowd, she said. I felt like I was looking at the real founder. I didn't say anything for a moment. Then I said, what exactly are investors worried about? They're asking technical questions, she said. And sometimes he avoids answering them. I almost smiled. Ethan was always good at talking, but he never understood the system deeply. I was the one who built the logic. I was the one who fixed the problems. I was the one who knew the weak points. Chloe spoke again. Daniel, I'm not asking you to say anything, but I want to ask you one question. What? I asked. Did he build it alone? She asked quietly. I looked at the screen where Ava was working and said, no, he didn't. She didn't respond for a moment. Then she said, that's what I thought. After the call ended, Ava looked at me. What did she want? She said users are complaining about his platform, I said. Marcus leaned forward. That was fast. He rushed the product, Ava said. We took time to rebuild it properly. That's the difference. I nodded slowly. He wanted to win fast. Marcus said, fast success often has slow consequences. A week later, Chloe called me again. This time her voice sounded more serious. Daniel, things are getting interesting, she said. Interesting how? I asked. One of Ethan's early employees quit, she said. And off the record, he told me the company is a mess inside. Deadlines, bugs, pressure from investors. I closed my eyes for a moment. I didn't feel happy. I didn't feel sad. I just felt calm. Chloe asked, how does that make you feel? I thought for a moment, then answered honestly. It makes me feel like the truth is patient. The truth is patient, she repeated. I like that. I'm not trying to destroy him, I said. I'm just building something better. She replied, sometimes building something better destroys the lie automatically. After I hung up, I looked at Ava and Marcus. His company is starting to crack. Marcus nodded slowly. And how do you feel about that? I thought carefully before answering. A few months ago, I would have been happy. Now, I just see it as part of the story. Ava smiled slightly. That means you've grown. I looked at the screen again, at our product, our system, our future. For the first time, I realized something important. He didn't steal my mind, I said quietly. Marcus looked at me. What did you say? He didn't steal my mind, I repeated. He just stole my moment. Ava nodded. And moments pass. But ability stays. I leaned back in my chair and smiled for the first time in a long time. Then let's create a new moment. Are you ready? Ava asked, adjusting the final slide on the screen. I looked at her and nodded. I've been ready for a long time. Marcus stood near the door. Remember, today isn't about proving him wrong. It's about proving yourself right. I took a deep breath. I know. Ava handed me a small device. This is it. Live demo. No second chances. I smiled slightly. I like pressure. She raised an eyebrow. No, you don't. You just learned how to survive it. I laughed quietly. Fair enough. We walked into the event hall together. It was bigger than the last one. Louder. More people. More cameras. I looked around and said, feels familiar. Marcus replied, last time you were a spectator. This time you're a player. Ava added, not just a player. A threat. I didn't respond, but I felt it. As we moved through the crowd, I saw familiar faces. Investors. Journalists. People who once ignored me. Then I saw Chloe walking toward us. Daniel, she said with a smile. You clean up well. I chuckled. I had help. She looked at Ava. You must be the mysterious developer. Ava nodded. And you must be the journalist who sees everything. Chloe smiled. I try. She turned back to me. People are talking, you know. About what? I asked. About a new competitor, she said. A better version. Faster. Smarter. I glanced at Ava. Rumors travel fast. Chloe leaned closer. So does truth. Before I could respond, the lights dimmed slightly. Ava whispered, he's here. I didn't need to ask who. Ethan walked onto the stage, confident as ever. The crowd applauded. I watched him carefully. He looked the same. Same smile. Same posture. But something felt different. Good evening, everyone, he said. Today, we continue to improve a platform that is already changing lives. I crossed my arms. He still sounds convincing. Marcus replied quietly, words are easy. Results are harder. Ethan continued his presentation, but I noticed small things. Slight pauses. Less confidence in technical parts. Ava leaned toward me. He's avoiding details again. I nodded. Because he doesn't know them. After his presentation, the applause was strong, but not overwhelming. Chloe whispered, it's not the same reaction as before. Marcus said, people are starting to think. Then it was my turn. Ava looked at me. Go show them. I walked toward the stage, each step steady. No fear. No doubt. Just focus. I stepped onto the stage and took a deep breath. Hi. My name is Daniel Carter. Some people whispered. Some recognized the name. Most didn't. I continued. I'm not here to talk about dreams. I'm here to show results. I clicked the remote, and the demo started. This platform is built for people who are overlooked, I said. But more importantly, it works. I ran the live demo. Fast. Clean. Accurate. The crowd leaned forward. I heard someone say, "That's faster." Another voice said, "That's actually impressive." I finished and looked at them. Ideas are easy. Execution is everything. The room went quiet for a second, then applause started. Louder than I expected. When I stepped off the stage, Ava smiled. That was perfect. Marcus added, "Now the real game begins." As I walked through the crowd, people approached me. Questions. Compliments. Interest. Then I saw him. Ethan was standing near the corner, watching me. I walked toward him slowly. He didn't move. When I stood in front of him, he said, "You're still chasing this." I smiled slightly. "No. I'm replacing you." He laughed, but it sounded forced. "You really think you can compete with me?" "I'm not thinking about competing," I said. "I'm thinking about building something better." He shook his head. "You're too late." I looked at him calmly. "We'll see." He stepped closer. "You should have moved on, Dan. You should have built it properly," I replied. His expression changed slightly. "You don't understand how this works." "No," I said. "You don't understand how it works." He stayed silent. I added, "You had my idea, but you never had my understanding." For a moment, he didn't say anything. Then he said quietly, "This isn't over." I nodded. "I know. It's just getting started." Chloe walked up beside me. That was intense. I exhaled slowly. That was necessary. She looked between us. People are already comparing both products. Ava joined us. Let them compare. Marcus added, "Because this time, the comparison favors us." I looked back at Ethan one last time. He wasn't smiling anymore. And for the first time since everything began, I realized something clearly. I wasn't chasing him anymore. He was starting to worry about me. Chloe called me early in the morning. "It's published," she said. I sat up in my chair. "Already?" "Yes," she replied. "And people are reading it fast." I took a deep breath. "What happens now?" "Now we wait," she said. "The truth moves slowly, but it hits hard." A few hours later, Ava walked into the office holding her phone. "It's everywhere," she said. "Tech blogs, investor forums, social media. Everyone is talking about the article." Marcus looked at me. "This is the part where you stay quiet and let the storm happen." I nodded. "I'm not saying anything publicly." Ava said, "Users are posting screenshots of bugs, failed matches, delays. The article made them brave." I leaned back in my chair. Truth gives people courage. Later that evening, my phone rang. I looked at the screen for a long time before answering. It was Ethan. I answered calmly. "Hello." "You knew this would happen," he said immediately, his voice shaking. "No," I replied. "I just knew the truth couldn't stay hidden forever." "You talked to that journalist," he said. "She asked questions," I replied. I answered honestly. "You destroyed my company," he said. I closed my eyes for a moment, then said, "No, Ethan. Your decisions destroyed your company." "You could have warned me," he said. I almost couldn't believe what I was hearing. "Warn you? After what you did?" There was silence on the phone. Then he said quietly, "I was going to fix everything." "You should have built it right the first time," I said. "I didn't have time," he said. "Investors wanted results. They wanted growth." "So you lied," I said. "I didn't lie," he replied. "I just moved fast." "You moved fast on something you didn't understand," I said. "That's not leadership. That's gambling." He didn't respond. I continued. You didn't just steal my idea, Ethan. You stole my work, my story, my trust, and you built a company on top of that. He finally said, I was afraid you'd succeed without me. That sentence surprised me. So you destroyed me first? I asked. I didn't think it would destroy you, he said. I thought you'd move on and start something else. I did start something else, I said. That's why we are talking right now. He sounded tired. Victor called me this morning. He's pulling his investment. I stayed quiet. He said he doesn't invest in founders he can't trust, Ethan said. I remembered the day Victor shook his hand and called him trustworthy. Investors don't like risk, I said. And right now, you are risk. Ethan's voice got quieter. Was any of it real? Our friendship, I mean. I didn't answer immediately. Then I said, it was real to me. He took a deep breath. I don't know how things got this far. I replied, it started the moment you decided to win alone instead of winning with me. He didn't argue with that. After a long silence, he asked, are you happy now? I thought about the question carefully. No, I said. I'm not happy about this. Then why do I feel like you won? He asked. Because this was never a fight between you and me, I said. It was a fight between truth and lies. And truth takes longer, but it wins. He whispered, I lost everything. You lost something, I said. Not everything. You're still alive. You can still start over. He let out a small, bitter laugh. Start over, yeah. I said one last thing before hanging up. Next time, build something that's actually yours. I ended the call and sat in silence. Marcus walked into the room. Was that him? Yeah, I said. What did he want? Marcus asked. He wanted to know if I was happy, I said. And are you? Marcus asked. I thought for a moment. I think I'm at peace. Marcus nodded. That's better than revenge. Ava walked in and said, we just got 3 investor meeting requests. I looked at her. Already? She smiled. The market trusts builders, not talkers. I stood up slowly and looked out the window. Marcus said, his fall is not your victory. Your victory is what you built after the fall. I nodded. I know. And for the first time, I truly meant it. Ava walked into my office with a big smile. We did it, she said. We are officially profitable. I leaned back in my chair. Say that again. We are profitable, she repeated. Revenue is higher than costs. Investors are happy. Users are growing. I looked at the screen in front of me, but I didn't feel what I expected to feel. Ava noticed. Why do you look so serious? I thought this would feel like victory, I said. But it doesn't feel the way I imagined. Marcus walked in and heard that last sentence. That's because real success is quieter than revenge. I looked at him. I used to imagine this moment differently. How? He asked. I thought I'd feel powerful, I said. I thought I'd feel like I won. Ava sat down across from me. And what do you feel? I thought for a moment. I feel calm. Marcus smiled. That means you did it the right way. Later that night, Lily called me. I heard the news, she said. You're successful now, huh? I laughed. I guess so. I'm proud of you, she said. Thanks, I replied. But it doesn't feel like I thought it would. She asked, do you still hate him? I thought about that question carefully. No, I said. I don't hate him anymore. Do you forgive him? She asked. I don't know if I forgive him, I said. But I don't want revenge anymore. She was quiet for a moment, then said, then you really did win. What do you mean? I asked. You didn't let pain turn you into a bad person, she said. You didn't become someone who lies and steals to win. I looked out the window. I didn't win because he lost. Then why did you win? She asked. I smiled slightly. Because I didn't become him. She laughed softly. That's the best kind of victory. After the call, I sat alone in my office for a long time, thinking about everything that had happened. The betrayal, the pain, the rebuilding, The long nights, the fear, the risk. Marcus walked in and said, "You look like a man who learned something important." "I did," I said. "What did you learn?" he asked. I looked at him and said, "Success is not about beating someone else. It's about becoming someone you can respect." Marcus nodded slowly. "That's a lesson most people never learn." I leaned back in my chair and closed my eyes for a moment. For the first time in a long time, my mind was quiet. Not because I had more money. Not because I had more power. But because I had nothing left to prove. I saw Ethan again on a quiet afternoon, months after everything ended. I was leaving a cafe when I heard a familiar voice behind me. "Dan." I stopped walking. For a few seconds, I just stood there, then I turned around slowly. He looked different. Thinner. Tired. Not the confident man who once stood on a stage and took my idea as his own. "Hi, Ethan," I said calmly. He put his hands in his pockets. "I wasn't sure if you'd talk to me." "I'm not sure either," I replied. "But I'm here now." We stood there in silence for a moment, then he said, "I'm sorry." I looked at him, trying to see if I felt anger. But I didn't. I just felt distance. "I know," I replied. "But that doesn't change anything." He nodded slowly. "I didn't expect it to." I crossed my arms. "Why did you do it?" He sighed. "Because I was scared." "Of what?" I asked. "Of being nobody," he said. "Of watching you succeed while I stayed average. Of missing my chance." "You could have succeeded with me," I said. "I know that now," he replied. "But back then, I thought success meant getting there first, even if I had to go alone." I shook my head slightly. "You didn't go alone. You stepped on me to get there." He didn't argue with that. "I know." We were quiet again. Then he said, "When everything started falling apart, I kept thinking about the nights in your apartment. The cheap coffee. The way you trusted me." I didn't respond. "I traded a real friend for temporary success," he said. "That was the worst deal of my life." I looked at him carefully. "So what are you going to do now?" He shrugged. "Start over, I guess. This time, I'll build something that's actually mine." I nodded. "That's a good place to start." He looked at me and asked, "Do you think we could ever be friends again?" That question stayed in the air between us for a long moment. Finally, I said, "No. Some things don't go back to the way they were." He looked down, but he nodded. "I understand." "But," I added, "I don't hate you anymore." He looked up, surprised. "You don't?" "No," I said. "Hating you would mean you still control part of my life. And you don't." He let out a slow breath. "I'm glad you found success, Dan. You deserved it." "Thank you," I said. He gave a small, sad smile. "You know, you were always the real builder. I was just the talker." I almost smiled. Maybe. But talkers can succeed too, if they learn to tell the truth. He nodded slightly. "I'm learning that now." We stood there for a moment, two people who used to be best friends, now just two men with a shared past. He finally said, "This is goodbye, then." I looked at him and said, "Yeah, this is goodbye." He held out his hand. I looked at it for a second, then I shook it. "Take care of yourself, Ethan," I said. "You too, Dan," he replied. I turned and started walking away. "Dan," he called one more time. I turned slightly. "Yeah." "I really am sorry," he said. I looked at him for a moment, then I nodded once. "I know." Then I walked away. This time, I didn't feel anger. I didn't feel pain. I didn't feel regret. I just felt quiet. And in that quiet, I realized something important. He was a chapter in my life. Not my whole story. I didn't walk away as someone who was betrayed. I walked away as someone who survived, learned, and became stronger than I ever was before.